Hello and welcome back to the channel, you magnificent future mariners. I'm here today to save you from a spectacular amount of early sailing misery. If you're new to the game, which if you're clicking this video titled Things I Wish Someone Told Me, then you probably think sailing is all about gin and tonics and bronze tans, and looking wistfully at the horizon. And yes, it is, but only after you survive the absolute embarrassment of day one. I've scoured the ancient texts, the most cryptic sailing forums, and the comments section on Facebook where people fight over anchor chain. Also, you don't have to. I've distilled the collective brewed wisdom of thousands of beginners into 5 glorious, painful truths. These are the secrets they keep in the back of the marina pub, the ones that make old salt smirk. There are these things I truly, genuinely wish someone would have sat me down and told me on day one, because my day one, it was a disaster. Let's get into it. Thing number 1, the boat doesn't warn you when it's too much. Right, you are new, and being as you're a human being, you've likely found the most affordable, slightly too large, possibly rusting boat on the market and told yourself, yeah, I can handle this. It's like driving a car, but sideways and potentially into a rock. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Listen, sailing is not like a modern car where the computer tells you your tire pressure is low and your lane departure is switched off. A boat is more like a 1980s Formula One car. It'll do exactly what you tell it to, right up to the point where it kills you. It won't flash a little orange icon on the mast that says, warning, the wind is now too strong for your current experience level, please reduce sail and go home. Instead, it just heels over and over and over. On your first day, you think that leaning over, what we call heeling, means you're fast. You think, yes, I'm nailing this, I'm a nautical god. But if you're heeling so much that your lunch is preparing to vacate your stomach, and you desperately cling on to the high side like a frightened limpet, you're not fast, you're just scared. And worse, you're slow. The boat is dragging its fat, uncomfortable bottom through the water. This is the equivalent of a gamer running their graphics card at 100% load, turning the whole room into a sauna, but somehow only getting 3 frames per second. It feels like action, but it's just inefficiency. The secret is don't be a hero. When in doubt, take a reef in the mainsail. Reefing is just shrinking the sail. You'll be faster, more comfortable, and you won't spend the entire trip wondering if your mast is about to become a very expensive fishing rod. Thing number 2, the absolute best teacher is an insulting stranger. Right, so you've mastered the 3 basic knots. You know which end of the boat points forward, and you're starting to feel a tiny bit smug. You think, I'm ready for the next level. I'll go out and sail all weekend, really fine-tune my technique. And that, my friends, is the nautical equivalent to trying to learn Mandarin by listening to elevator music. It's pleasant, but you're not going to get anywhere fast. If you want to go from hesitant beginner to confident sailor who actually understands how the wind works, you have to do one terrifying but wonderful thing. Go racing. Yes, racing. I know, the word itself sounds expensive and elitist. You need to have a sponsor and a boat built of carbon fiber woven from unicorn hair. Forget all that stuff. What we're talking about are the local beer can races, which are casual, highly flawed, and incredibly humbling Wednesday night sailing league at your local club. Here's the truth they don't tell you. A single hour of racing will cram more essential sailing knowledge into your terrified brain than a month of leisurely cruising. Why? Because cruising is passive. Racing is active, high-pressure repetition. When you're cruising, you might adjust your sail trim, that's the angle of the sails, every 20 minutes or so. When you're racing, you adjust the trim every 20 seconds. You're forced to look at the water, anticipate the wind, and react instantly. It's like playing a video game on the hardest difficulty. You're going to die a lot, but you'll learn the mechanics blindingly fast. If you're worried about making a fool of yourself on your own boat, do this. Go crew for someone else. Sailing forums and club bulletin boards are full of people desperate for crew on their boats. They're looking for warm bodies that can hold the line and get out of the way. When you crew, you get all the intense high-speed learning and none of the expensive responsibility. I race 3 nights a week in the summer, not because I'm a competitive maniac, but because it's the single best and cheapest sailing education available. You will learn the difference between being merely out on the water and actually being efficient on the water. You'll learn how to point the boat higher into the wind, how to execute a tight, controlled jibe or tack, and crucially, how to get shouted at affectionately by someone with a permanent sun-damaged frown. Forget the fancy degrees. If you want to accelerate your learning curve faster than a Tesla on launch control, find a local race and just show up. You'll learn the real language of the boat, and suddenly, all that technical jargon you've been reading will click into place. It's the fast-track ticket to competence. Thing number 3, you must learn the voodoo of docking, and you must practice it. Docking is the single biggest source of anxiety, humiliation, and marriage therapy in all of sailing. It's the moment where everyone at the marina stops what they're doing, even if it's just checking their email, to watch you. It's the marina runway show of incompetence. And here's what no one tells you: docking is not sailing. It is an entirely separate dark art. Sailing is beautiful, it's poetry. Docking is a bar fight. And you're going into that bar fight with the 5-ton weapon that has all the steering grace of a refrigerator on roller skates. The physics are working against you. The wind and the current are not your friends here. They are the 2 bullies who wait by the school gates just to flick your ear every time you walk by. Your tiny little propeller at the back, your little boat motor, it has only one job in this scenario, and that's to push you forward and backward. But because of something called prop walk, it will also twist the boat violently sideways when you put it in gear. It's like having a car where when you hit the gas, it immediately swerves hard to the left, and you have to get it perfectly straight within 1 boat length while a crowd watches, and a $500,000 yacht is 10 feet away. The only way to conquer the fear is to practice, not for 10 minutes, but for hours. Go to an empty dock, maybe one where some nice fishing boats live, and spend an entire afternoon doing nothing but forward and reverse, practicing that prop walk and learning how to let the wind do the work for you. You have to learn to think in slow motion. Docking is not about speed, it's about timing. It's like a good stand-up comedian. The pause is more important than the punchline. Master the slow approach and you'll save thousands of dollars on fiberglass repair. Thing number 4, the rule of 3. This is a piece of advice that I picked up from a very old, very cynical cruising sailor, and it saved me more headaches than any knot I had to learn. It's simple, so pay attention. The rule of 3 is 3 things will break on any given weekend. Your mind, as a beginner, is programmed to look for the catastrophic failure, the mast falling down, the boat sinking, but that rarely happens. What does happen is an insidious, morale-crushing micro-failure cascade. You get out on the water and you're feeling good. Then, your GPS chart plotter decides it wants to play 1990s Pong instead of showing you where the rocks are. Breakdown number 1. You go to hoist the mainsail and a little piece of plastic on the mast called a batten car decides that it's had enough and explodes into a million pieces. Breakdown number 2. So you go below to make a sandwich and you realize the fresh water pump has decided that today is the day that it's going to leak half your tank into the bilge. Breakdown number 3. 3 things. Now you're distracted, you're wet, you're slightly lost, and you have no clean water. And that, my friends, is how minor problems turn into major ones. The secret here is proactive pessimism. Before you even untie the dock line, fix at least 2 things. Look at your boat not as a pleasure craft, but as an angry collection of systems desperate to fail. Check the water pump, check the batteries, check that shackle that looks a bit worn. You'll never get to a point where 0 things break, so learn to embrace it. Know that the universe requires its sacrificial offering of 3 small disasters. By fixing 2 things before you leave, you're betting that the universe will be satisfied with the 1 new thing that breaks, leaving your day mostly intact. It's the game of nautical Russian roulette, and you need to load the barrel in your favor. Thing number 5. The secret is not in the lines, it's in the look. If you're going to learn one thing, just one, forget the difference between a sheet and a halyard. Forget the bowline knot for a minute. The absolute number 1 highest value skill in sailing is this. Where are you looking? When you start, you look at your hands, you look at the line you're holding, you look at the sail right above your head. You're entirely focused on 20 square feet immediately surrounding you. You're steering by looking at the bow of the boat, which is the equivalent of driving on the highway and staring at your hood ornament. You've now created a 40-foot long blind spot. You're sailing by the seat of your pants in a busy harbor that makes you a danger. The truth is, all the information you need to sail well is not on your boat, it's out there. You need to look up at the flags on the shore to see where the wind is coming from. You need to look out to the water, way out, to see dark patches that tell you the wind is coming your way like a train. You need to look at the sails of the other boats around you and see what they're doing. Are they heeling? Are they pointing higher than you? They are living, moving instruments. This is the equivalent of a basketball player running the court without looking down at the ball. It's instinctual situational awareness. Stop looking at the main sheet. Look at the water 50 yards ahead. Your body will feel what the sail's doing, but your brain needs to be 5 minutes ahead of the boat. If you can master the look, if you can be the sailor whose head is constantly swiveling like an owl, you'll anticipate the wind shifts, you'll avoid the crowds and accidents, and you will, without even realizing it, get more people sailing more easily because they'll look at you and you'll look competent. And that's the real secret sauce of sailing. And that's right on mission, because the mission here at Lady K Sailing has always been to get more people sailing more easily. And I sure couldn't do it without you guys and the patrons. A huge shout out to everyone on the Patreon team who supports this channel for as little as a couple of bucks an episode. Paid patrons get access to the app where we have group chats and private messaging with me if they need help. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider becoming a patron. Until next time, friends, keep the heavy side down, but not too far down. I love you guys.